One of the perks of Ashton Solomon's new life. For the last 3 years, he's been a lecturer at 𝗧𝗵𝗶𝗶𝗴𝗶 in Cape Town.
I enjoy the students and I enjoy being able to share the skill and the craft, seeing them grow and going from barely switching on a computer to being legit.
New to Cape Town, 𝗧𝗵𝗶𝗀𝗶𝘀 is a third-year acting before camera student at 𝗧𝗵𝗶𝗶𝗴𝗶.
One of my dreams is to actually participate in changing the film industry in South Africa, because South Africa is a country with a lot of cultures, a lot of languages, and a magnitude of stories to be told.
𝗧𝗵𝗵𝗶𝗴𝗶 is a private higher education college offering courses in the creative arts, acting for camera, filmmaking, photography, and multimedia digital design. It's owned by Educor Holdings, which manages 7 different educational brands. Last month, the Minister of Higher Education, 𝗶𝗿𝗍𝗵𝗶, announced the deregistration of 𝗧𝗵𝗵𝗶𝗴𝗶, Damlin College, 𝗀𝗧𝗏 City Campus, and Lyceum College, impacting 60 Educor institutions across the country.
In addition to failing to submit evidence of their financial viability to the department, the 4 Educor brands can be deemed as dysfunctional.
It's a tragic demise. Educor is the largest private higher education institution in Southern Africa and used to have an excellent reputation. So many young lives filled with ambition and dreams of big futures were crushed when the news broke, but the situation has been dire for quite some time. 𝗀𝗵𝗶𝗀𝗶 did his first 2 years at the Braamfontein City Varsity campus in Johannesburg.
We're acting students, we need to have cameras to shoot and stuff, but we didn't have those cameras, we didn't have a lot of equipment, we didn't have props, mics, and then the lecturers started telling us that there's been a problem at City Varsity. It's just that they were not allowed to talk about it.
The situation in Cape Town wasn't much better. This student fears revealing his identity will ruin his future.
Gradually, a couple of lecturers started leaving. They weren't getting paid for months. Their lecturers have lost their cars, who couldn't pay rent, had mental breakdowns in front of our face because their own needs weren't being met, How can you survive without money? You can't survive without money.
We would complain about getting paid late, and we'd be like, hey, don't say anything in the WhatsApp groups. Me and a lot of the staff that I spoke to didn't feel safe to kind of just voice your opinions or do the thing.
There is a striking culture of fear and distrust. After what some acting students told us, weeks went by without lecturers and with little or no equipment. Students demanded a meeting with Educor. They got nothing but promises.
The day came where they were supposed to deliver what they had promised, and they did not respond, they did not say anything. We started striking. We actually cleared out the building from the 8th floor down to the ground.
They would literally say, if anything is happening wrong on campus, you can sue us. The person that we saw who was a representative in the face of Educor, she's gone, so make it make sense.
I don't know whether we can take attendance.
Carte Blanche was sent a recorded Teams meeting in which the assessments were discussed among lecturers. During the conversation, a bizarre solution is put forward.
Right.
I asked, he said I can take attendance as assessment marks.
In other words, a student's record in attending class would count towards their academic marks.
It's fine, you can't take attendance as a mark, which is nuts, because basically you just show up and you pass. It's just crazy.
In Johannesburg, after months of late payments, lecturers were facing Christmas, still without pay.
Unfortunately,
This voice note from a lecturer explains that the grades students received were not based on the marked exam scripts, as they were withholding them as a kind of leverage in their pay dispute.
They cooked your marks, yes, they cooked your marks. They gave you marks that we don't know as lecturers.
When the Department of Higher Education announced the deregistration, the head of City Varsity in Cape Town told the students they had nothing to worry about and that the media had gotten it all wrong.
And then he says, I have a list from the Department of Higher Education and Training themselves that clearly states that our campus is still registered. That list was dated August of 2023.
In other words, he was using a list 7 months older than the one released by the minister.
I went onto the website of the Department of Higher Education and Training and I downloaded the latest list. It's 17th of March, 2024, which clearly states institutions that are deregistered, and City Varsity was there.
Was there ever a moment where you considered walking away from City Varsity?
What would it mean for my mother paying all that money and now I'm walking away without having finished what I started? We don't have that sort of economical means to just up and leave and go to another institution and start all over again.
His mother paid close to 200,000 rand for his studies. Students fear that the campus in Cape Town could just be shut down without warning, like what happened to Braamfontein City Varsity earlier this year.
We sent messages to our parents that campus is being fumigated. And then they dropped a bomb on us in February, and then they said they were closing down. So when they shut down the building, they gave us a list of institutions that we can transfer to. When we actually went to those institutions said, we know nothing about this because City Varsity and Educor hasn't communicated anything with us.
𝗧𝗵𝗶𝘀 managed to transfer to Cape Town City Varsity, but is taking enormous strain after this announcement. He lives in this windowless, cockroach-infested room. It costs him 5,000 rand a month.
So it was the first years. So that's like really cool. And you had all those videos, and then that would be the post, and then that would be like for Father's Day sort of thing.
The battles with management eventually wore Ashton down. The reward of seeing students develop was no longer enough. And now you decided to resign.
I couldn't sit there and pretend that everything's fine with the students. Just continue like nothing's wrong, whereas you're messing with young people's lives and you're ruining people that might have had potential.
We've tried to get some straight answers from Educor about what the future holds for these students, but like them, we've hit a blank wall.
Can I just ask you a few questions about the status of City Varsity in Cape Town and the students that are currently registered?
Ma'am, I think, could you possibly put an email through to me?
And as for answers about the management,
could you please just tell me who the CEO is of Educor?
Ma'am, put it in writing and I'll revert back to you in writing.
Very peculiar behavior.
Thanks very much.
the identity of the Educor CEO remains a mystery. In its statement, Educor says it is appealing the deregistration. They commit to the long-term operation of the Cape Town campus and say Braamfontein campus students were relocated to comparable institutions. They claim all City Varsity qualifications remain accredited by the Council of Higher Education. What's so distressing about all of this is that the students and their parents are the real victims in this whole saga. Will their qualifications be worth the paper it's written on? Will Educor reimburse them? Their track record of paying their bills is atrocious, and their academic credibility in shreds.
The only relief we ever got was from the Minister of Higher Education and Training when he said that our degrees are still valid.
But are you confident that it will be valid, that diploma you'll get at the end of your course?
The only thing that makes me confident is that the Minister himself said that and not Educor.
The industry is not going to view City Varsity students the same. And I'm afraid that maybe other institutions will not recognize my degree.